Imagine waking up to the sound of sirens blaring outside your window, your phone buzzing with emergency alerts. Quarantine zones established. Stay indoors. You step outside only to see your neighbor, eyes glazed and skin pale, shambling toward you. The zombies are here, and it's happening now. It's a typical Tuesday morning. Scientists at a major pharmaceutical company have been experimenting with a new viral vaccine intended to combat a global pandemic. But in an unforeseen chain reaction, the virus mutates, turning into a strain that reanimates the dead. Initially contained in a small lab, a security breach leads to an outbreak. In just a few days, it leaps from city to city, spreading through public transportation, crowded streets, and even social media, where viral videos of the first victims go viral. By day 3, cities like New York and Tokyo are in chaos. As the infection spreads, governments scramble to contain it. Martial law is declared. Emergency broadcasts urge citizens to stay inside, but panic sets in. Grocery stores are looted and people are desperate for supplies. Within a week, the infection reaches every continent. Air travel is suspended, but it's too late. The virus has taken root in major cities worldwide. Each time someone is bitten, the contagion spreads faster. Infected individuals exhibit aggressive behavior, attacking anyone in sight. Social media becomes a platform for survival tips, but also for fear, as videos of the undead flood feeds. As the world descends into chaos, governments attempt to fight back. They deploy military forces to quarantine affected areas, but the numbers are overwhelming. Infected individuals are everywhere, and the military struggles to maintain order. Cities become war zones, with survivors banding together in makeshift communities, fortified against the onslaught of the undead. In the face of this overwhelming threat, how do we defend ourselves? Communities start to organize. People stockpile food, weapons, and medical supplies. Urban farms spring up in parks and rooftops. DIY fortifications turn homes into bunkers, with barricades made from furniture and scrap materials. Survivors form groups, using social media to coordinate their efforts. They share survival strategies, weapon handling tips, and locations of safe zones. A network of underground radio stations begins broadcasting, urging people to flee to remote areas where the undead haven't yet reached. As the chaos unfolds, scientists work feverishly to develop a cure. They discover that the virus is vulnerable to certain frequencies of sound, and this sparks hope. Groups of survivors begin to experiment with sound-based defenses, using loudspeakers to repel the zombies. As cities crumble, a small group of survivors in a remote town uncovers an old military bunker. Inside, they find weapons, food supplies, and, crucially, a lab with research on the virus. They realize that with the right equipment, they could create a sound-based weapon capable of neutralizing the zombies. But the journey isn't easy. They must traverse through hordes of the undead, risking their lives to gather the materials they need. As they make their way back to the bunker, tension builds. They encounter other survivor groups, some friendly, others hostile. The desperate atmosphere leads to betrayal, and they lose one of their own to a zombie horde. A stark reminder of the stakes. Finally, they reach the bunker and begin to work on their weapon. As they set up loudspeakers and prepare for the first test, a massive horde descends upon the town. With no time left, they turn on the frequency. The sound waves reverberate through the air, causing the zombies to stop in their tracks. Some begin to collapse, their bodies shaking violently before they fall still. As dawn breaks, the survivors stand together, watching as the sun rises over a world forever changed. The sound weapon has worked, but the fight is far from over. While they've bought themselves time, the global situation remains dire. They understand that the road to recovery is long, filled with challenges and sacrifices. Yet as they look at each other, some battered but alive, they realize that hope is not lost. Humanity has faced extinction before and emerged stronger. They choose to rebuild, to create a new society where cooperation and resilience are key. They know the battle isn't just against the undead. It's about reuniting humanity and reclaiming their world. In this new reality, survival isn't just a matter of avoiding the zombies. It's about finding a way to live again. And perhaps, just perhaps, they can survive after all. I would like to know your thoughts about this battle. Do you think we could survive? Drop a comment, See you all in the next Beyond Possible scenario.